Many of us have called out Hollywood for taking traditionally male characters and gender swapping them because the creatives in the industry can't create anything new. They're terrible at their jobs yet still need to put out projects, so they take existing characters or stories, slap new coats of paint on them, and say, look at this new reboot, and James Bond is a character there's been a lot of talk about because writers have said they want to create a female James Bond, but now Armas, who of course was in No Time to Die, has said in an interview there is no need for a female James Bond and there's no need to steal someone else's character. I have a bunch of different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So this is a Daily Wire article, and I am going to reference some Bounding into Comics articles after, but it says actress Ana de Armas says there's no need for a female Bond and no need to steal someone else's character. So she sees no reason for there to be a female Bond just in order to flip things around as Hollywood continues to do these days, and said there's no need to steal someone else's character. Now, about 2, maybe even 3 years ago, there was a lot of talk about a female Bond in No Time to Die and how the future after Daniel Craig was going to be a female Bond. And even though we haven't seen a lot of information on the next Bond and what their plans are, it is still very worrying that they could go in this direction because, of course, we've seen writers, producers, directors, even a lot of actors say we should consider everybody for the next series of Bond films. I mean, even Daniel Craig has said before, well, we should consider everyone that we can, and I am going to reference his thoughts on that in a few minutes. During an interview with The Sun, the 34-year-old actress was asked about reports that the next installment in the franchise could consist of a non-binary Bond, meaning a person who doesn't consider themselves either male or female. The outlet reported in a piece published Tuesday. This is another direction they could go in that would cause a lot of outrage. When I think of James Bond, I think of a male. I don't think of a female. I don't think of a non-binary character. If I pay to see a James Bond film, I want to see a guy. It's just as simple as that. And I'm not saying that these people can't go and create their own franchises. Go and create your own James Bond type of character. Feel free to make them non-binary. Feel free to make them a woman. But do not take an existing character and twist them around because you are not creative enough, because you can't actually come up with any new ideas. Now, of course, I've talked a lot about race swaps and gender swaps on the channel, and I never agree with gender swaps because you have to take a character and completely tear them apart in order to do a gender swap. With race swaps, sometimes they can work because the actor is fantastic and just understands the character far better than maybe the people who could have been chosen over them. But again, with gender swaps, you have to completely tear apart the character and recreate them, and that is why I never ever support gender swaps. Changing the famed 007 character would simply be the latest move from Hollywood, which appears to change every single beloved franchise and character to appease the woke culture these days, as the Daily Wire previously reported. This is something that Hollywood does not realize, that no matter how much you twist these original characters and these franchises around, these woke individuals are not going to show up to watch the content you are creating. We have seen it happen time and time again, where we see massive changes to characters and franchises exactly like this, and those people don't show up to buy movie tickets, and then the box office numbers are horrendous. There's no need for a female Bond, the Knives Out star shared. There shouldn't be any need to steal someone else's character you know to take over. This is a novel, and it leads into this James Bond world and this fantasy of the universe where he's at, she added. What I would like is that the female roles in the Bond films, even though Bond will continue to be a man, are brought to life in a different way, that they're given a more substantial part and recognition. That's what I think is more interesting than flipping things. Now, I actually 100% agree with this. I think that James Bond should stay a male. The main character in this franchise should be a male, but I think it's perfectly fine to have a strong female counterpart to this character. I mean, we've seen many strong women in the James Bond films before. I don't think that that should change. I'm not sitting here saying we should erase females from this franchise. Absolutely not. I think that this is what a lot of people want. I think a lot of people who love James Bond, love this franchise, love all of the movies that have come out, would be perfectly fine with this. I think giving a female in these films a substantial part is just the way to go. It of course says she played a new version of a Bond girl as the mysterious CIA agent Paloma across from Daniel Craig in 2021's No Time to Die. The movie was his final outing as 007 after playing Bond in Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre. It says during an interview in 2019, the producer and overseer of the Bond franchise admitted that a future 007 could be non-binary. Now, I do not think this is a good idea. I think that they should keep Bond the way that he has always been. But of course, even Daniel Craig in the past has said, you know what, let's look at everyone for the future of Bond. He had said back in 2019, everybody should be considered. This, of course, sparked a lot of outrage. Okay, a lot of people are sick and tired of seeing franchises and characters they love be taken and twisted around so that Hollywood can continue to put out a bunch of movies with the name slapped on it, even though it doesn't actually represent the products that we've gotten in the past. Now, of course, after she said this and articles went up about her statements, there have been many people praising her on social media. There are a lot of actors and actresses out there who do not want to make statements like this because they're afraid of being blacklisted. They are afraid of being kicked out of the industry and losing their careers. But a lot of people are very happy with what she said. People are commenting on the Daily Wire thread things like, whatever she says I agree with because she's smoking hot and I'm not stupid. GIFs, I like this one. I give it 24 hours before she's making a woke apology because she angered the outrage mob and they want to cancel her. This, unfortunately, is something that we do see. Actresses and actors come out, they make statements, voice their own opinions, and then the woke mob attacks them, and then they end up backtracking and apologizing. I don't think that's going to happen here, first of all, because it hasn't already, and second of all, she's never really been under social media pressure. It's not a situation like Chris Pratt where anything he says is scrutinized and people try to use it to cancel him. But who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, she is just an actress. Maybe she will end up changing her mind and backtracking. I don't think so, though. Either way, she said it. Respect. Other comments are saying things like original female characters will always be better than a gender swap. So there are a lot of people who are defending her right now. I think that this statement is great and I definitely agree with it. Will we see other people associated with this franchise come out and say the same things as her? I'm not sure, just because if we look at even Daniel Craig in the past, he said everyone should be considered. But at the end of the day, she did make this statement and a lot of people are very happy with it and agree with it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.